Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to take a look at a deadlift mistake that I used to make and something that I think you all could potentially fix to help both your grip and your overall deadlift strength. So first, here I am in the gym, just kind of demonstrating the mistake that I'm talking about, and that's the idea of pulling too much with your back. And now you might think that I'm meaning like leaning too far forward, but instead I'm talking about that leaning back into the lift. Notice how I'm hyperextended at the top whenever I pull this deadlift once I pass the knees. What that does and how this can influence your grip is normally on a deadlift you have just downward force on your fingers, but as you lean back into the deadlift and kind of ramp it up your legs, you're actually changing the direction of that force, and you can end up rolling the bar out of your hands because of that change of direction. Think of it this way: your grip is sturdy in, an up and down force direction, but as soon as you start pulling back, right, and you're leaning back into the lift to try and finish it, you are changing the angle of that force, and you can actually roll it out of your fingers. So in my example, and we're going to play a clip from a competition here, I was plenty strong enough to hold on to that amount of weight, but I leaned back and kind of had grip issues stemming from this. So before we look at that, here's just a forward angle to know what to look for. Notice this hyperextension, and as I'm pulling, I'm just thinking to pull back on the bar, and a lot of people do this out of habit because you think, oh, I need to straighten my back, I need to pull back. So here's the example. This is 300 kilograms in 2015, and this was a no lift because of unlocked knees. Notice once I pass my knees, I lean back into the lift instead of pulling my hips forward, and I do have soft knees. And I remember from that lift, I was struggling to hold on to it, and part of it was because I was pulling it out of my hands with that change in direction. Now, this is an example of how we can fix that. So instead of leaning back into the lift, once the bar passes your knees, that's when you squeeze your butt and it'll push your hips forward, right? And by pushing your hips forward, your torso should lock upright, but no overextension. And what this does is it keeps the bar path vertical, and it reduces actually your range of motion because you're not pulling back over your thighs nearly as much. So I just want to take a look one more time in slow motion, and I'll talk you through what I'm thinking here. So the deadlift is almost like, once I get set into position, I'm leg pressing until I pass my knees. So press, press, press. Once I get about here, all I'm thinking is squeeze my butt, and that pushes my hips forward. I'm actually not thinking to pull back at all. So whenever you kind of couple this thought process with the mechanics, you're shortening your range of motion because your arms sit slightly lower, you're not pulling the bar as far, and you're not pulling against the friction of your legs and changing that direction of force to roll the bar out of your fingers. So by doing this, I don't do any dedicated grip work, but I used to struggle to hold on to 300 kilos, and at this point we're pulling 350 plus kilos, and it hasn't taken grip work, it's been a technique change. Okay, so hopefully that helped you all. That's just kind of a quick fix that I applied to my own deadlift. Hopefully you can take that and apply it to yours. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe, and until next time, happy lifting.